Hi guys, it's Shayla again from Freckle Finance, and today my video is going to be another financial independence update. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below. I upload videos on personal finance, financial independence, and lifestyle videos related to being a new mom and a new homeowner. So the last financial independence update, it was hard to give a true number because we weren't quite sure yet what type of mortgage we were going to go with. And if you're wondering the mortgage type, if the video has not been uploaded, it will be uploaded soon. If it is uploaded, there'll be a card up above. But we weren't quite sure of all the expenses of the house. And although we haven't been in here very long, I don't imagine that utilities will change that much. And we've also had our son, and so the expenses regarding him have stabilized a little bit more, and we have more of an idea of what he's going to cost, and any future children that we want to have will cost as well. Although I feel like if we have more children, it'll just get worked into the current budget. We won't increase the amount of money we will need to be financially independent. So first of all, I want to state how I'm figuring it out now. So we will have the value that's in our house, so how much we have left on the mortgage, as well as the down payment and any appreciation that's been made on the house. I'm taking into consideration whether or not, if we are still here, this house is paid off. So I'm not assuming that we will sell this house and buy something cheaper, although that is still an option to be financially independent or retire earlier if that's what we choose. And everything else is pretty much just different ways that we have money invested. And so that's what I'm using for our net worth. We do have some cash in a bank account. I did not use it to calculate because we are getting things like blinds for our house and finishing our backyard with it. So while that potentially could increase the price of our house, I'm just assuming that is cash that is already spent and it's just sitting in there currently. So once again, I'm going to give the timeline for if we were to retire here or if we were to retire in Canada. Now, I will say that I believe these numbers are sort of worse than before, and that doesn't mean that we've backtracked at all in how much we need. I'm assuming our needs are a little higher than I was before, and so that's why there's a change. In reality, my husband has had an increase in pay since the last time, and we are still continuing to save a significant portion of his income, and in fact we are going to be saving more than we were previously planning on saving. So if we wanted to be financially independent here in the Bay Area where we have purchased this house, it would take 20 years. So part of the reason for that is because we did decide to go with longer than a 15-year mortgage, and if we will not have access to the funds within our house because we haven't sold it, then I can't really use that to calculate the net worth up until a certain point. So we were not able to have enough money to pay the mortgage and all our other expenses until 20 years from now here. However, like I said, things can definitely change. That doesn't mean it's going to take us 20 years. We could move to a cheaper area. You know, if you're going to become financially independent and you want to retire, you do not have to stay here. So this is just to give kind of a representation of if we wanted to stay here, because I think it would be naive of us to say we will go back to Canada if, you know, we have our children here and they love it here and they're thriving here, and it doesn't make sense for us to move. Or even when they're older and moved out, and they stay here, do we want to also stay here near them? So I do want to plan that it's a possibility that we will stay here, but I also want to plan as if we're not. So on to Canada. If we were to move back to the location that we would ideally like to live in Canada, it would take 11 and a half years from now. Now this is a lot quicker to do because this assumes that we are going to sell this house, take the cash out of this house, and purchase a new house on a mortgage back home. So we could still pay out a house, or we could get the mortgage. That would be something we could decide later on depending on what we want to spend on the house. But this was assuming that we had a mortgage on a house. So since our timeline is probably going to relatively stabilize except for potentially future promotions, I wanted to be able to give a way to represent to you guys our progress, kind of like a progress bar, to show how far we have come towards being financially independent in those two locations. If we were to retire in the Bay Area where we currently live, we are 15% to our goal. Now, this can be very deceiving because when you are investing, it seems like you can't take 15% and assume that it will take the same amount of time for each 15% to get there. So that's not how that works, because there is compound interest and you are making interest on your money. So if we were to move back, we are about 20% to our goal. So while it's a lot sooner, 8.5 years sooner to be able to retire in Canada than it is to retire here, it's actually only a 5% difference when it comes to the amount of money we need. So that's the end of my financial independence update, and I am very happy with where we are standing right now. Do give this video a big thumbs up for working towards financial independence, and remember that no matter what your financial situation is, have a great day. Bye.